Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
What do you get when you mix two white boys, both named Mike? A thing for Justin Timberlake and a piercing above your eye. Was he high? Their stories alone could make you cry. That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.
Unreal. I just want everyone to know the fact that this show happens on a weekly basis is nothing short of a miracle every time. If you guys could
It comes
see,
close to not every week.
Dude, there is it's the missile launching in 5, 4, 3, and then someone hits the detonator to stop it right at the half a second before the world explodes.
It's like every recording of this podcast is like the scene in Wizard of Oz where the person is hanging in the background. Like something happens.
Or like a pit crew, but if they're running in and instead of doing their jobs, we're all just bumping into one another. And
they trip, fall, a guy gets paralyzed on the wheel well, somebody steps over them to fill their shoes, but they
do the rivet to their shoe.
How did we both know where we were going?
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Irish Goodbye Podcast, storytelling podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Feeney, being joined with me, as always,
by Mike Cannon.
And this will be fun. Alex,
you're like a mix right now. Can I comment on your look? Because it's good. I think you landed on what you should look like with that mustache. You're like a little bit, it's a little bit Brad Pitt from always, from the Hollywood.
It's always Hollywood and Philadelphia.
It's a little bit of
Once
the dad.
upon a time in Hollywood.
It's a little bit of his dad from Talladega Nights.
Okay.
And it's
Ricky
a
Bobby.
little bit Ray Finkel.
Ray Finkel. The famous trans.
When he punches in on the thing and he goes, "Who the hell is that?" That? Who the hell is that? That's you.
Here I am.
This is going to be one for the ages. Can I call my shot to center right now? Because Feeney's pissed at how much you guys enjoyed that.
I'll tell you what part of it I enjoyed more was the reaction. The over-the-top reacting got me much more than here's what got me, and the cameras could never pick it up because it has to be from my vantage point. But when Mike threw the ball up and hit it, Alex and Mike went like this and followed the imaginary ball with their eyes. That's the operation we got going on today. Unreal. No one's having more fun.
Yeah. I really think this is going to be a special episode because I basically dosed you, I guess you could say, before the show.
Sure.
Because I just got a new type of legal marijuana in New York, and I think the quality is just getting better and better since people are just a bit more freewheeling with how they're doling it out. And this was wedding pie. Have you ever had that?
No.
So wedding pie, I don't know. I'm not really a I don't look into these things. I just say, don't make my heart burst. Please, anything but sour diesel.
They're like, sir, blunts are going to do that regardless of what's in
they're
there.
like, well, the injection of tobacco into everything you smoke certainly will, it'll blow up your arteries.
It's more the moderation than the strain, really. Is the quantity is the issue.
You think that has something to do with it?
Most of it.
I've never even considered that, eating a slice of weed would be worse or easier than just the full pie of weed.
Sure. You didn't have to, what you didn't even have to make it a pie
I know,
analogy.
I did a pie chart in my head, but then I made it a real pie, and it was always pumpkin, and I don't think anybody thought that.
Definitely not me. I couldn't even picture it as the pie because we were talking about weed, you see.
Yeah.
But so you got that, and we'll figure out where it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, there's wedding pie.
There it is. Yeah, this is what I looked it up. So that's what the best is. So it shows it calms you down. It's more for that, and which I'm super pumped about. And then it also almost takes you to the end of very high.
Yeah. Well, Alex is seemingly her. There is Alex. Get on them. But what's going on with you over there?
I don't know. I'm just being distracted.
Alex was grabbing the mic, shooing someone out of the room. There was a dog running around. She
went to me instead of her because she forgot what camera she is. She definitely thought the mic was a Beats by Dre pill at first. She just put her ear to it like she was at the beach.
The ocean. Well, let me tell this then, and this will make it easy for Alex. Because we had a moment happen to Brendan and I on the subway that it's been hard not to talk to you about. Considering I saw you.
I was there when it happened.
After it happened.
Right. Like we were meeting each other.
We saw you immediately after. Yeah.
Right.
So we go, and it's such an interesting story too, because Brendan and I go on the train together. We're in Queens. It's 1 o'clock on a Wednesday, or 12 o'clock. No, it wasn't even 12 o'clock, right? So we're on the train, and we're just talking about how it's crazy that society is. You know, like that it is.
Yeah, Brendan tried to workshop that on me
he did
later that day.
He told me that he did that. Oh, later that day.
Later that day.
Yeah. So he was doing that.
Or maybe was it before that?
I think it was before that because he had talked to me about how he had said it to. He was like, I was just talking to Ken about this, and then it seemed like a little more for him.
I bet he used my lines on you.
Probably.
He definitely
did.
But
that's so. But what I
did he say the fact that we have buildings?
Yeah, he did say that.
He did.
He did say the fact that we
fucking. That rat bitch. Unbelievable.
He definitely said the fact that there are buildings and that people are just in caves.
Unbelievable. This kid, so he stops tweeting my jokes that I help either facilitate or actually do on our other program.
Yeah.
But instead, he's now doing them in conversation.
Oh yeah, and it was working.
Yeah, I bet. I bet it made you like him more.
Well, and I will say this: it wasn't even a thing to where because he was trying to get a little more mushroomy about it and stuff, and it was it was noon, so I was like, But what my counter to that was, which he's probably now doing around the city, is that I said it is
around the city.
So we're sitting on the subway, the three, me and Brendan, and it's one of those trains where we got, it's the old school one. So there's the bench that we're on, then there's the one facing perpendicular, and then it goes back to the other thing, right? So him and I are sitting here directly across from us, and one perpendicular thing over is a guy who's blasting music on his speakerphone.
Cool.
And so I'm talking to Brendan. Brendan's talking about society. We get on this whole thing, and then I go, isn't it crazy that anybody who puts their speakerphone volume on like that is openly saying to everyone in New York City, I'm looking for a confrontation. The only people who play it loudly with no regard for other people are people that want you to go up to them and go, hey, can you turn that down, so that they can go, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what do you problem,
nobody
right?
is like, oh, I didn't consider it.
Yeah,
wow.
It's all like, and they play it loudly and then kind of look around to be like, oh, does anybody have a problem with this?
Eye.
Yeah. So we're doing that, and I start talking about how, so rude, incredibly rude, and Sagalow's agreeing and stuff. And then I say, which was crazy to just say, knowing all of this that I do, the information, I have the end of the story, you see. I go, it is crazy that of people that we travel into the city so much, and we are around so many crazy people, that more crazy things don't happen in our day-to-day travels, that we are not more exposed to more violent lunatics.
Yeah.
I say all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay? Not 4 seconds later, the person that is sitting across from me leans in and starts talking to the woman next to Sagalow, who's looking out the window, and he just goes, hey, I bet you sucked a dick before. Hey, you ever suck a dick before? Hey, miss, how many dicks have you ever sucked before? I bet you sucked 50 dicks before in your life. I bet you sucked 50 fucking dicks in your life, you dirty fucking scam. Starts like screaming at this woman, right? So we're all going, uh-oh, he's screaming at it. And then he starts like getting, and to describe, he was like a taller dude, but he was like Middle Eastern, for sure looked like a full-blown schizophrenic, right?
Yeah.
So now he's like yelling at her. He's getting so aggressive and point this at her, and Brendan and I are going, what do we do? And everyone's watching on the train. He's still doing it, and then Brendan, to his credit, steps up. He's the first person on the entire train to say something, and he just goes, hey man, take it easy. And then, so there's that.
What, did he hear that in a Swayze movie once?
He goes, "Hey, take it easy." And the guy goes,
He goes, "Fuck you, miss.
yeah.
Take your lesbian ass down to the other side of the train."
Yeah.
And it's like, I will.
Yeah, and
I'll write a rap about this.
Yeah, and I was trying to see if there was an exact quote that I wrote down. But so he goes, yeah. So he has this. He says the thing. He screams. Immediately, the guy goes back to Brendan, starts calling him hard F words, and is like, and now Brendan, he goes from stepping in, being a good guy, to just taking it to a level that could raise tensions immediately.
Oh, good. Brendan decided this was his therapy moment where he needed to defend himself.
He has his iced coffee, and he's very calm. He has his iced coffee. He's swirling his iced coffee from holding it from the top of
I love
He's
that.
just holding the
Yeah.
lid, swirling the bottom of his
so he
ice.
can still fucking punch him if he just wants to drop and hit.
So yeah,
I love
he's
it.
swirling his iced coffee, and he goes, "What are you gonna do?" Literally says, "What are you gonna do?" to the guy while Brennan and I are sitting there both holding iced coffees. You know, now in my mind, what's going on? I'm trying to figure out 4 steps ahead where this immediately becomes
You
a
have
violent.
one arm.
That's my problem, dude. I'm sitting there going, I can't fucking do anything. I can't even cock back to punch, let alone punch. And all I could do is come in lefty, which I can get maybe one shot, and I got to have it perfect. And it's like,
Yeah.
I can't grab him. I can't even subdue him on the ground. The only thing I could do is kick him once he gets on the ground already.
Stomp the fuck out of
So
him.
I start looking at other people on the subway. I'm making eye contact with a couple other guys and stuff. This guy is screaming at Brendan, but then immediately fixates back to her, and he starts screaming at her again, right? So
She's
now,
still sitting there?
yeah, she can't. She's literally like against the thing, and he goes, it's because you didn't fucking.
very victim blaming.
Yeah. Very poor.
I mean, just get up and leave.
No. And that's the other thing. We're in between subway stops too. So
Yeah.
it's like that kind of, and she goes, he starts going to her, "It's because you didn't let me, I made one comment. I made one comment on your Instagram. One fucking comment. And this is how you're going to fucking treat me." And then people are being like, hey, and all that stuff. And then Brendan goes up to her, because she's right next to him, and he goes, "Do you know who this guy is?" And she goes, "I have fucking no clue." So this guy, again, is
my God.
on another planet, thinks she's some enemy of his, and is like very locked in. He's like, "You better hope we don't get off at the same subway stop. You better hope I'm going to hurt you physically." Like, this is dude,
Oh
he's
my
saying
God.
that, yeah, in a way that everybody on the subway is freaking, that we're all in this thing of, if he makes
How big is this guy? Like, I want to, because I want to talk trash accurately.
Okay, I'm saying he's probably 6'3",
Okay.
very, very barely bigger than me. He's probably at about 75 pounds on me, I'd say. He was like
God damn it.
like a bigger.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I mean maybe 50 pounds on me, but it was a lot, and he was like he just looked like a bigger guy. He was like thick, but not ripped, but just kind of like, like
Thick.
Yeah,
A lot
thick.
to move.
Yes, right.
A big sofa to fit in your apartment.
So now we're terrified, man, and this is when I say my only thing of the entire engagement. I just go, "Let's calm down." I come in with that. I come in with a "let's calm down," which, if you can believe it, didn't work.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah.
Did it flame the situation?
Yeah. I just had like a one-line thing. So Brendan goes up and whispers to her, and what he said was, "Hey, maybe, you should switch.
We should get dinner later.
Yeah, he was following her on Instagram by the time. He's like, "What is it? I'll take mine." So he goes,
"But I swear, if I leave one comment."
Yeah. So this guy's screaming at her, and he goes, "Let's go, we'll go to another car once we get to the subway stop." And she's like, "I'm afraid to move," is what she said to him. And then he goes, "What are you fucking whispering about? Fuck you." He stands up. He starts like screaming about Polish people.
Yeah.
He throws out.
I get that.
I don't even know if that's a slur to say, but the hard.
What do you say?
P,
Ethos?
No, the hard P word for them. I don't even
Polak?
know. Yeah, I don't know if that's bad to say.
don't know.
I guess it's like saying Mick too, but if you're not Polish, but I don't know. Whatever it was. He
It's
starts.
kind of like the word we used a lot last week on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
one?
It's like, don't say it.
What was
So,
it?
You know it. So believe me, do you know it?
I still
Can't
stand
stop
by.
me. Don't say
I mean,
that.
I show no growth week to week.
whatever. So this situation,
Alex is choking violently.
I'm telling the story at a glacial pace, but
I love it. Keep moving, buddy. It's
people
so.
are screaming.
Yeah, keep
into their
going, keep
phone.
going.
So you're about to launch.
I was about to go on a 75-minute tangent. We would have ended the episode never knowing what happened.
So again, the tension is high. Everybody is screaming. He's screaming at everybody, and he's screaming at this woman. He's saying very vulgar, horrific things to her. And we're all doing that thing where we go, something's going to have to happen. Now, right as that moment's happening, he's also got a basketball. He's holding a basketball.
Oh,
so
it's
he's
probably
like,
a bomb.
He looked like he played he was like a center. He had like center build, you know? He had like something. So he has
this sucks.
Yeah, dude, it sucks. And
But no, it would have been an awesome move because this is an underrated thing with a basketball is you actually uppercut the ball and it acts as 2 punches. So it's like a ball in the face, combobulation, and then you just fucking tune up his ribs.
Yeah. So as this moment of tension is happening, and I'm just looking out the corner of my eye to see how far away we are from the subway station. And it's like the longest stop in Queens between the two. So we, right in this moment of tension, somebody from down the car, a woman from the other side of the car, goes, "Shut up!" Like that.
Okay.
Didn't help.
Weird.
He spiked the ball on the ground, and he goes, "Who the fuck said that? Who the fuck said that?" He walks down the train. Now he rips his shirt off.
Oh, dude, Andrew Yang was all wrong.
He rips his shirt off, spikes his shirt on the ground, and goes, "Who the fuck said that? Who the fuck said that?" And this woman eventually was like, "I said it." And he was like, "I'm going to fuck you up." And he was like, "I'm going to kick the fucking shit out of you." He goes, "Stand up." He's like ready. He's like trying to square off. And there's a guy sitting next to her.
Is this a packed train? How many people are we talking?
It's a train that it's not packed enough because every single person has a seat.
Okay.
There's nobody standing. So there's
But what's the layout? Sorry, I'm just trying to paint a picture and also understand your options.
There's probably 30 people.
Is there another dude who is even comparable in size?
That is what the calm of it was, is that everybody was witnessing what was going on. Everyone knew what was happening, and everybody kind of knew in any moment that the violence breaks out, this is going to turn into a United 93, and we're all going to fucking jump on the guy.
Literally.
It was all, I don't know how to describe it otherwise, that we all kind of shared this look like, when something goes down, we're all going to get this guy, you know?
Yeah.
And so the same thing was that he's screaming, he's yelling at this person. Now, another woman who is probably in her 60s keys over and just distracts the guy and goes, "Hey, sir."
Shakes her
Sir.
keys in his
Yeah,
face.
she's Jurassic Park. She rips a flare.
Hey.
So she goes, "Sir." She goes, "Your ball. You forgot your basketball." And he was like, "What?" He's like fucking like screaming. And now we're pulling into the station. And he's like talking about, he goes, "Don't fucking touch my basketball." And she's like, "I'm not touching it. It's just right there. I don't want you to forget it." And then he like picks it up and he goes back to scream at this woman. The door is open. The older woman sticks her head out the car and is like, "Police!" So yells like olive oil to Popeye.
Yeah.
And thank God, because there were like, there's more police presence now in the subway stations the last couple weeks.
They just come on the train. Just unload their clips in them.
Yeah.
They didn't even see what happened.
They shoot the old woman. But
They're like, "Sorry, we're out of practice."
So no, there was like 4 police officers on the Queensboro Plaza subway station.
Mm-hmm.
And we go, they come running in immediately.
Yeah.
First, he sat down. He tried to like sit down next to people
to be a good little boy.
To blend in. No, to like blend in.
That
with
is
the crowd.
hilarious. Kindergarten shit is like, throwing chalk or whatever in the teacher's coffee.
Yeah.
She turns back around, then you sit there and you're like,
Yeah. No, he was trying to just kind of be like, if no one will see me, and then once they came on the train, he like ran off the train, and then once that happened, now the doors just stayed open for a while. We're all like consoling this woman who is so shaken up. The first woman who was getting like screamed at. She was like so just, she's literally shaking. And then they come and the police come and they go, "You gotta, miss, like we gotta have you come off the train because you're the victim of the crime. So we need to get your thing."
So we need to traumatize you for another 90 minutes.
That
if
was
you
the
wouldn't
worst
mind.
part. Is I was like, you were just on your way to work or wherever you were going.
Yeah.
Then you get like almost assaulted. You know, you have to deal with the trauma of that. And now you have to be late, you know, and you're like, which sucks even more. Fill out a report. It's like,
then you have to tell everybody the story.
This is your whole day all over again. And
well,
so,
weirdly enough, I spent this morning geting called a whore by Jafar on the N train.
and then when we start driving away, they're talking to him, and he's just holding his basketball, but he's like not in cuffs, which I understand. They're like, I guess they just can't go cuffing people immediately. But when a whole train full of people, I'm like, he's got the strength that he'll just shove you guys onto the tracks. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you gotta subdue this guy a little bit if people are screaming that this guy is, you know, a danger, you know?
Violently threatening
and he
people.
also seemed like very, like, you know, he was wearing those very, very erratic, very big sweatpants where you're like, does he have a box cutter? I don't know what the fuck he's got. Like, it's fucking terrifying. So, and the older woman stayed on the train, and we were talking to her, and she said that she was you know, I said, good job distracting him with the thing. And she was like, I used to teach kindergarten. She's like, so I just use that technique of like when someone's like, you know, having like a temper tantrum, and you just can distract a child and just kind of like momentarily distract the thing. And so she had such a good tone of being like, right, no, I'm on your side, but your balls don't want you to forget it.
I literally do that with crew. I was gonna say that in the middle of it, but I didn't. But now I'll pretend to have.
But it was, dude, it was just so weirdly, it was terrifying. It was, I felt so bad that, you know, that happened to that woman. It was crazy that it was the second after I said, isn't it wild that we don't run into more crazy people? As if he was just a sleeper cell, like, activate. You know, unreal. And then we had to go do a podcast.
Yeah, and not tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'm hurt.
It was traumatizing.
Yeah, that does sound traumatizing.
But good for Brendan he stood his ground. You know, I mean, he was the first person to speak up. He was also directly next to the woman. He was the closest person. And then he did say, he was like, I escalated it too much with the, what are you going to do? Kind of
I mean, where?
But if he stood up, I'll tell you this, when the guy was screaming at him right after that, if Brendan stood up, we both talked about it. It was like, you would be almost, you might be dead, but you'd definitely be in the hospital right now, because he would have went like, you know, Donkey Kong ape hitting crazy on you. Like, he would have demolished him. And Brendan's like, he would have fucked me up pretty bad. And that's the worst part, is me having to like, what? Like, I couldn't, I would have just been lefty swinging.
Yeah. Do you know what's weird is I've had that situation happen to me, not with a guy that size. He was kind of like a shorter you. He was like a skinny street person. And he was, it was super late. It was like 3:00 on the A train heading back into Brooklyn. And this guy was just shadow boxing, cursing at me. There's a bunch of people on the train, like fucking packed, weirdly enough. And he's cursing at me, making eye contact, and moving forward, coming at me. And I'm sitting down, and I'm just like, I have to make a decision, right? It's like you either have to initiate contact or you know, take a shot.
It's like the Bart and Lisa, he's doing this, and you go, I'm just going to start kicking, and if you don't get out of the way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so I didn't even like, I thought in my head, I was like, 18 inches. If he breaches 18 inches, I got to get up, right? Yeah. And then in my head, I was like, don't wait for that. And I just got up and I go, hey! I was like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, I just blowfished myself and made myself really big. And I was like, get the fuck out of my face, dude. I will fuck you up.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my face. And all these other dudes were like, that white boy just said he'll fuck you up. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck. And it just so happened that, like, the doors open and he just, like, kind of shadow boxed his way out of the train without really even reacting to me at all.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what's so crazy is they just get off at the next stop where they go like, I'm just looking for some sort of conflict. I got one.
Yep.
And but also it's so insane that
do they remember though? Like, are they looking?
No,
what is it?
I'm sure not. But what I'm saying is crazy is also the fact that you were just having a normal day, and then
I mean, I was hammered, but yeah, you know.
But I'm saying it's crazy that he could bring you anybody to a level of like, I want to fight somebody. Who can I fight? And then, hey, fuck you. And then you have to go from not in a fighting mood to
fight
suddenly
for your life.
Yeah,
fight for your life.
It's insane, dude.
I mean, especially on the subway. I was talking about this on the Mike Takes Edibles. It's like, and Louis had a bit about it, but you almost can't believe that these people aren't constantly going crazy. It's like if you don't have anything to live for, and you are mentally either off the cliff or at the edge.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Why wouldn't you? Like, what's stopping you? It's such a crazy, like, human decency and instinct to not be a murderous, raping maniac is so strong that people, even with nothing, don't do it for the most part.
Dude,
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it's all. I feel like the last 30 things both of us have said have started and ended with, and it's crazy because. And what's crazy about it is, here's what's crazy.
God.
Now, this is the crazy thing. So, no. But it is, when he ripped off his shirt, that was the part where I go, this is going to be
a problem.
very
'Cause
bad.
now he's tougher to grab. He's like a fucking sweaty
And he had
seal.
that like he had that giant back patch of hair.
I was going to
and
say, you could grab it like you're fucking him doggy style.
and he had like
just his back
like
hair.
tricep hair, you know, it's just like that, but then nothing on the mid back. And
The old mad dog
You feel bad
patch.
for the person, but I was like, I hope to God that he didn't just able to like Ted Kaczynski be like,
Right.
officer, I'm sorry. They just, you know, they were just a couple white people scared of me as a brown.
Right.
But it was every you know, color and creed on the book.
Well,
But it
that's
was-
why I was joking about the Andrew Yang thing, and I do think he said it in a dumb fuck
did he
way.
say?
But he was talking about how, like, it's really scary sometimes in New York right now with all of the mentally ill people on the street threatening safety. And the way he said it was like, we have rights too. Get them out of here. Like, it was just this weird rah-rah thing that he didn't eloquently think it through. But it's like, we do have rights to the streets. We do have rights not to be assaulted. We do have rights not to be harassed.
Right.
That person also should have rights to health care or some sort of situation that's going to, I don't know, get them as right as humanly possible. But it's not the job of people that are living their lives to fucking just deal with that.
Well, and that's what is crazy because you go, I don't know what happened. I just said it again. That's what's crazy. That should be the name of this episode.
It's crazy.
It's so crazy. But the fact that you go, I don't know what happened to that guy. You know,
Right.
they might have let him go, and then
No, he probably went to a fucking halfway house or you know, one of the shelters or something like that, and then was let out the next day. It's crazy.
And I cut
didn't
off,
even mean
and
to
I
do
cut
that.
off myself saying, well, what's crazy is that should be whatever the name of that weed is. It should just be.
It's crazy. It's crazy weed.
It's crazy weed.
It's crazy.
Wait, it's crazy. But that's it. That's the end.
That's the end. Well, what? Not.
Someone else got stabbed in the head with
Damn
a
it!
screwdriver yesterday.
That was me trying to seamlessly launch into 5-star reviews.
Yep, I saw
That was me. Alex saw me just chugga, like wind the car back and let it go, and the car hit a pebble and did a front flip. That was terrible. Just fucking write us a review.
Go into it, baby.
There's so many, but there should be more. There's a lot more people that listen to this show than we do have reviews on iTunes. So if you can, freely support the show. Just go to iTunes right now, subscribe, write a review. Even if you listen through another device, it helps chart the show. It helps get the word out to other people. It's just all beneficial for us, and it costs you absolutely nothing.
Sure does.
Right?
Irish Goodbye Podcast on social media, irishgoodbyepodcast@gmail.com. You can get a Gas Digital Network subscription using the code IGP. Gives you a week free trial to check out all of our other episodes. We have over 232, so there are plenty to listen to, plus
So
the video,
many.
plus the bonus, all the other podcasts on the network, all their stuff. It's more entertainment than you could ever know what to do with.
Yeah.
And it gives you a discount to podcast merch.
Yep. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have all the goodies, and wow. And we're coming out with some more, right? We got a Sagalow one, hopefully coming out soon that he will not see $1 of. So by all means, please support by buying that. And, you know, Eloquent Filth is on back order somewhere. That's going to come out. And yeah, just a ton of stuff, right?
It would be funny. We should have some kind of thing that goes like, Brendan,
Yeah, ideas.
Brendan joke that attributed to Mike Cannon. Mike Cannon ideas attributed by.
That's actually a good t-shirt. In quotes, Brendan joke - Mike Cannon.
Yeah, well, no, it shouldn't be it should be the other way around.
What?
It should be Mike.
Oh,
Cannon
yeah, Mike
joke.
Cannon joke, Brendan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So we'll figure it out. Alex, you had something to say?
That's a good shirt.
Thank you. You guys can go to, also, you can check out here'sthescenario.com, and that's our podcast. You can check that out there. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/scenariopod, that we also do it with Brendan Sagalow. We riff on what ifs and all of these hypotheticals and stuff like that. It's fun, easy,
fun.
totally different podcast than this because it's not so much storytelling as it's just us infighting.
Yeah.
It's just fighting.
It's fighting over hypotheticals.
Yeah, and being mad that somebody else's hypothetical subjective answer wasn't the same.
Yeah, it's a make-believe tough show.
They will be mocked relentlessly for whatever answer they choose. So check that out. And you can go to MikeFeeneyComedy.com and check out dates that I have coming up and buy tickets to that. You can go to Uncle Vinny's, to Comics Mohegan Sun, to Royersford, PA, because we will be there together.
August 11th, babe.
And Sagalow's coming with us as well. Alex, are you still coming to that? Soul Jules?
What's the date again?
August 11th.
I'll be there.
Yeah, guys, buy your tickets now. It's how many seats? It's a big seater, right? 300 people? 400? Okay.
Let's sell this bitch out because we have a chance to make some goddamn money, support the show. Come out. It's going to be half stand-up, half podcast. Brendan, the Snicker Raccoon, is coming. Our boy Lucas is filming the thing. Alex and G. Mike is definitely going to be there, too.
He's shaking his head.
We'll have a wet T-shirt contest between G. Mike and Brendan.
Yeah.
No, I'd love to go, but this is the first I'm hearing of it, so I don't know.
We told you last week.
Oh,
you
wasn't
weren't here
last week.
No, it's whatever. It's whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're invited.
I'll be there.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sounds good.
And yeah, youtube.com/MikeFeeneyComedy.
Yeah.
And check that out.
Mike
Check out
Canning.
His routine.
Oh, sorry.
That's it.
MikeCannonComedy.com for dates. I think we have a screenshot of it right now. Oh, Alex got to my website. Hell yeah. July 8th through 10th, I'm going to be in Uncasville, Connecticut at Comics Roadhouse, Mohegan Sun. Brendan is going to be opening for me there. Again, August 11th, Royersford, PA, Soul Joel's. Get tickets to that. And then I'm doing a run October 8th through the 11th. I'm going to be in Columbus, Ohio. I'm going to be in McHenry, Illinois. And then I'm finishing it out with 2 nights in Chicago at Zany's. I'm super excited. It's going to be very fun. And, I just picked up another date, actually. August 27th and 28th, I'm going to be on Long Island. McGuire's the first night on Friday on the 27th, and then Governor's on the 28th. So come out to that. And, yeah. Mike Cannon Comedy on YouTube, putting out a ton of shit. I got the Mike Takes Edibles. I just filmed a heads-up poker match with Bobby Kelly. That's on the Patreon right now, but it will be coming out for everybody on my YouTube, I believe, next week. So do that. And Alex?
You could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Alex Scar, and check out my podcast, Broad Topics, TOPIX, here on GasDigitalNetwork.com every Thursday at 9:30 p.m., or you could catch it for free on iTunes and YouTube every Monday. And I also have a brand new podcast with Mike Harrington every Monday after Legion of Skanks. It's a Gas Digital Network exclusive, so you could only find it on GasDigitalNetwork.com. It's called Stick and Portly Watch Rick and Morty, and it's we're recapping new episodes of Rick and Morty. So
Wow.
Are you not going from the beginning?
we are starting at season 5, which is premiering right now, and then we're going to go back to the earlier seasons.
Got you.
Interesting. Michael?
I'm G Mike across all platforms, and we just we announced today that we're doing free Independence Day weekend, Gas Digital, for everybody.
Wow.
Free. Come.
America,
And if
baby.
you sign up for a year, you get a Gas Digital Frisbee, just in time for the summer.
What?
Fuck,
Frisbee?
yeah.
And August 11th, I'll be in Royersford, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Let's do this. All right. Let's get back into the show. Speaking of crazy people, Father's Day just passed, which was lovely. Did you do anything for it?
I spoke to my dad on the phone. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
He's in Florida.
Yeah, that's true. Makes it tougher to go out there. I texted my dad, but I also sent him a video of Crew saying Happy Father's Day, Grandpa. So it was nice.
Oh.
So yeah, but Father's Day, Nicole was working, actually, so she wasn't even around until later on in the day, but we ended up having, or Donna ended up having, Nicole's mom, a party at her house, and that house is built for social events. It's just great. It's got the pool, it's got area to play lawn games, it's got, now it's got a little pool basketball because of Crew, and, it's just like, it's great. With Nicole's family, my family also came down from up near New Paltz, and they, my sister Jessica, her daughter, her husband James, and my mother came down, and it was just awesome. It was one of those days where it's like, haven't had this in a really long time. Both families haven't been able to get together, like where, the kids are playing, like, my niece is like a substantial walking baby now. She's all over the place. Crew's fucking all over the place. We got a bouncy castle.
Love a good substantial walking baby. I'm so sick of these half-developed walking babies. I only want not even like moderate walking babies. Substantial walking babies are nothing. That's what I've always say. Go ahead.
I kind of agree. And I've owned a non-substantial, non-walking baby. But so we have a bouncy house out there, which is like, if you told me when I was a kid, like that I would even be able to have a bouncy house one day, because I would have assumed it was $40,000.
Right.
I would have been like, no way. But like the fact that we have a little bouncy house for both kids, and it's so great, and like there's a blower, it's the whole thing. They're swimming, all the cousins are there, they're loving the kids. It's just a really happy, joyous day. And I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better Father's Day. And then, everybody splits just before sunset, I would say. Like the day's starting to cool down, but the pool is still a piping 95 degrees because that's how Mario likes to keep it. And so everybody leaves, but we're hanging out there. It's me, Donna, Nicola's home at this point. Crew just went down. Mario is there, and Joe DiStefano, who is Mike DiStefano, the comedian, his brother, who he also looks exactly like Mike DiStefano.
Oh, wow.
It's fucking trippy as shit, dude. The first time that I saw Mike do comedy at Caroline's, after the show, I went up to Joe and I was like, "You were incredible." And he's like, wasn't I? Like he's a funny dude.
He's like, I'm Questlove.
And not yeah, dude. And not only that, he's like a notorious, like, this has been publicly spoken about, so I'm not speaking out of school here. There's also newspapers and shit like that. But he was a car thief, like, back in the day. And, like, the redheaded bandit stories up in the Post, like, all this shit. And he's now a mechanic made good. Like, he works on cars, which is so hilarious. It's like he's fucking Kip Raines from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did. It's one of my favorites.
No shit.
I love that movie.
Oh, excellent. All right, cool. That made me feel good.
Brains!
Yeah. One of my friends told me I have like movie Asperger's,
You
and
do.
I
You
do a little bit.
but if only for a very specific time.
Very
frame.
specific,
Movies from
yeah.
like 85 to like 94, and it's like
I wouldn't even give me to 85, to be honest. It's a much slimmer.
87?
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird road of types. It doesn't make any
it's
sense.
Mostly, I feel like if I was a 32-year-old, if I was a 35-year-old woman,
Mm-hmm.
I'd get them all.
Yeah.
Most of them are.
Why Nicole married me.
But like, it is like that from that movie.
I asked my mom, and I was like, have I, like, do I have Asperger? Like, did you ever get me tested or anything like that?
You ask your mom for the answers, like, doctor?
Yeah,
Doctor mom?
I just wanted to know if she, like, hit a doctor's appointment from me or
if
something
she,
like that.
Or if she even had reason to make one.
To bring me in,
Yeah.
And so she's like, no, you've always just kind of pointed to stuff that nobody cared about in books. She's like,
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You're like, look at the trim in the corner of the room. You see the crown molding? That's like the crown molding in The Other Girl. The 1991. The 1991.
Starring Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, the rom-com that nobody saw. It's wild.
That's exactly right. So I the night I'm hanging with them, right? And I'm actually having like a pretty delightful, nuanced back and forth about wealth distribution with Joe.
Okay.
And like he's conceding some points and I'm conceding some points. Like it's a grown-up conversation, which I didn't know. Like I tread very lightly. I've spent the year living with Mario where I've found that it's
Right.
just not possible.
Sure.
We can't have any conversations. It
Sure.
just doesn't go to any place that's good except for aggression. It just stinks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd throw a little softies out there and he'd be like, oh yeah, and I was like, oh, we can have a talk. Like this is great.
Yeah.
So it was a nice conversation, and then Mario is just in the bag, but having a great time. He's wearing his America shorts. He's like has
Picture
17.
him coming out of the pool with waters like fountains behind him. Did somebody say politics? He comes up like a dolphin.
Yeah.
It's just his legs.
Dude, he started screaming about like how Caitlyn Jenner is his favorite person of all time. Like, he just loves a person that can, like, kind of, like, is the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Like the Candace Owens types. Like, he loves to latch on to those people and be like, I'm not a... It's like, all right, whatever, dude. And so Joey picked up on that immediately and was like, calm down. Like, relax. We're good, And he's just yelling. And he's like, all right, there's no reason to yell. And I think that was like the 9th person of the day to say calm down to him.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so later on, whatever, I kind of skip out of that conversation because I saw it was just going to go nowhere fun. And Nicole was home, so I went up to talk to her. She still had a bunch of work to do. There's NBA hoops on, so I pop 100 milligram edible.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm like so excited. It's great. It's going to be, I have the full night off. Like, it's fucking Father's Day. You know what I mean? And I then, like 30 minutes or 35 minutes later, I'm high already, but I go to smoke downstairs, just to set off the hundo. And of course, so I get downstairs, and I'm like, I forgot I haven't like eaten today at all. Like, I've been watching Crew, and which I've also tried to workshop this idea. Tell me if it's anything.
Okay.
On Mother's Day, it's always like, give the mother a break. Get her away from the kids.
Right.
A day at the spa. Get away, right? For Father's Day, it's like, show off those fathering skills.
Yeah,
It's like, we
yeah.
want to see you be a dad. Showcased in front of the whole family.
Yeah, be a father all day. Here's your kids. Here's everything.
Yeah. And here's our kids.
Yeah. 1,000,000%.
Yeah, okay, good.
I think that's might have been a thing already.
No shit. Yeah, it kind of sounds like that.
It's a very good point.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's-
it's just something I came to naturally. It might be somebody's bit. It's not somebody. It's something I'm even doing on stage.
Yeah.
But it
Fuck
definitely
do it
is
on
true.
stage.
Tonight.
Let them find you.
I will.
Yeah.
Tonight. Yeah.
Just every time you perform with a dad on the lineup, be like, is it him? Is he the one that knows my terrible, terrible secret?
So I go downstairs and I'm eating like a Viking. I have like drumsticks. I have pizzas. I'm shoving everything down my throat.
Yeah, you like
Simpsons.
Cold's Crew? You're like, oh, no.
Yeah, oh no. Bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like eating nonstop, and Mario comes in. And while I'm eating, he starts telling me stories. He loves telling stories, which
He's got pretty good stories.
He's got very good stories.
Yeah.
He's lived an incredible and very interesting life. However, when he's drunk, he tells me the same 3 stories every time, like 100%. These are 14
How's
months.
this delivery? Does it ever change?
So this is what is going on. It's verbatim the same. So he has the beats. He knows them. He knows exactly where he's going.
Material back pocket.
He even stops for a second and does like the thoughtful pause.
He adds some ends and ums, so you think it's telling you for
like
the
I'm in alt room, and this time I noticed that he was doing like a Burr in his 6th hour special act out conversation with himself. He played the character of the guy.
He was in black and white for some reason.
Dude, and he's like doing this thing, and I'm like, are you getting better? Have you been working these bits into a fucking iron hour? And now you're just adding the last bit of fucking just cherry on top?
Yeah.
Because this is a better experience. And then, of course, it was incredibly difficult to finish my food and then get out during a breath of one of the stories.
Right.
I actually had to wait out one here while I was putting it in the garbage. And then once I stepped away from the garbage, he cut me off right in front of the door and he told me another story. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, I'm going to go smoke this. And I went outside and I go to smoke and Joey is out there and he comes over to me and he lights up a cigarette and he goes, "You vaccinated?"
Father's Day, Father's Day.
And I go, I was like, I am. Yeah, I did. And he goes, okay. And then he just starts telling me about the vaccine. And he seems like, I mean, I don't know what the validity of what he's saying, but it sounds like he's read something. Right. So it might have.
Trust me, I boosted the car of a doctor before.
Yeah, I mean, it might be like JennyMcCarthy.com, but it also could be wherever the fuck.
Sure.
I have no idea what he's reading.
Sure.
So, but I am listening to him explain to me mRNA, DNA, what this is, how it's not a vaccine, how it's gene therapy, and it's experimental, and I'm just like getting tunnel vision, looking at him like I'm
listening to
I'm
tell
in
it.
Get Out, and I'm looking at him like I keep changing my head and not like almost just to get a better look at him while
Yeah.
I'm doing that, because I'm not listening. I'm
Sure.
not. I'm doing good at appearing like I'm listening, I think. He never
You're getting
he
socially
never called me
dominated.
out.
It's a very comfortable position.
I'm
for you.
going to my no-no place.
Yeah.
I just realized.
I know what yours is. You look down and you go, oh,
Yeah, but
you're very smiley.
But I'm very smiley. This time, you won't believe it. I went across. I brought something new to the table. I was all eye contact, straight face the whole time.
Wow.
Straight face, dude.
Hardly
and just,
blinking.
And after a while, I'd be like, I actually agree with that. Like, just every once in a while, I'd just kind of pepper in that. But I continued to make eye contact because it's very important to me that these old, tough Italian guys think I fucking like I have respect.
Right.
And I'm a good guy. And at
Sure.
the very least, I do that.
You can maintain.
Yeah, because all of them think I'm some twinkle toes liberal or whatever, and it's like, you guys haven't even asked me. Like, nobody has asked me what I've thought about anything. You've just told me what I believe and told me why that's wrong and gay. And it's like, that's fine. But then so he's telling me about the vaccine, and Donna comes out and she's like doing something I couldn't even see on the steps, like while he's giving me this conversation. And I saw an opening right when he was like, talking about the vaccine. I was like, listen, I did it so I could get back to work, so I could be as safe as possible for my son and for the older people in my family, which should be like, yeah, I mean, that's as good of a reason as any.
Sure.
Cut it right there. Sounds like a solder. You know what I mean? Like let's cut the corduroys.
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 Corduroys. The word. Like corduroy.
Corduroys.
But
Corduroys.
corduroys.
Corduroys pants.
No, now you got me saying corduroys. It's
Corduroys.
corduroys.
Carterized, right? Or
There's a U in there, isn't there?
Quatterized.
This brought the show to a screeching oat.
So you do that, and
Cauterize the wound. It's cauterized.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was.
CAUT.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, there is a U in there.
cauterized.
It's caught. God, that made
Yeah.
me question everything.
Me too. So Donna, bless her heart, steps in and is like, yeah, that's also why I did it. And she's like, I actually spoke to one of my doctor friends, and apparently a lot of this has been in the works for a while in terms of like this type of vaccine and blah, blah, blah. And he just, it's just a no. And like, whatever. And I'm used to this from Rabbit Hole. Like I know this approach. I know the steamroll and Sagalow approach to conspiracy.
Yeah.
And it's relentless, and you just have to wait it out and take your beating and then get the hell out of there.
Right.
And so Donna immediately sees the writing on the wall, sees that this bear already has a fish in its mouth, and walks the fuck back in the house. And I am just there, all right, like continuing to be dominated. There's basketball on. I've been waiting all week for this. It's Father's Day. I'm on the moon, starting to kaleidoscope hallucinate a little bit. Like I was literally like, and I smoked the whole blunt.
No.
Dude, while I was sitting there,
You can't.
I lost track of what was happening and knew that I needed to keep moving. So I was just like not listening, going through all these thoughts.
You really were in your no-no place.
Dude, and I also had this
Keep
thought.
doing the smoke to forget.
I also had this thought where I was like, I can't believe this is my life.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I had this thought where I'm like, does anybody else get this fucking absolutely bulldozed about vaccines and conspiracy all the time? Like
You
for
are
me,
prone to social domination.
but also a very specific type of social domination, because it's almost always conspiratorial, or at least the dark recesses of governmental corruption, like that type of
It's
shit.
because of your eyebrows.
Yeah, it must be.
bring it
I do.
in,
I
and
mean,
it
I really
brings it
do.
out.
I'm coming to terms with how much of a Bin Laden face that I have. Like, it just did not dawn on me until I put those next to each other,
Yeah.
and it was like, I mean, that guy's nose and beard were not his crimes against humanity.
It feels like the personality of your shirt is your face. It's the same colors. You know what I mean? What
does that mean?
You have white. You're peppered with white.
There's a yellow in here, though.
Is there yellow?
Am I a sickly yellow?
Well, yeah, I'm the armpits, I'm sure.
I mean, don't I kind of look like Osama
You
bin
can't
Laden?
show that on the internet now, because apparently when I did that on TikTok, I got banned for 6 months for just showing it for that long.
Oh, wow.
We're going to have to
censor
cut
that.
it out of the
Okay.
stupid thing. I'm sure YouTube, they'll be like, you can't monetize it because then you're profiting off of Bin Laden.
Yeah, whatever.
It's all
If anybody
dumb.
should be profited off of, it's him.
Yeah.
Let us
Get
all
sued by the
make
Bin Laden estate.
by Jerry Laden.
Yeah, he only Ladenstein. He just only sues for $911 every time, just to prove a point. You're like, fuck you, man. Fuck you.
I need you to write your signature on this check with 2 equal-sized pencils at the same time. Yeah. So I'm out there, I'm taking my licks, there's nobody to fend for me, and who comes ambling out but good old glass-eyed Mario just comes out, and he sees what's happening, and then, like, I don't know what happened. Like, every once in a while, Mario will do these, like, are you nervous type things, but verbally, like the gay thing, you know, because that's hilarious. Like, you know, faux coming on to you, but in kind of an aggressive, like I, you know, the way I do it from stage, except with less charisma.
Yeah, like when you're when drinking.
Yeah.
Being like what, like sitting next to you, like squeezing you or something? Or
No, not hands or any any contact. Just like, you know, nobody knows. Nobody will know. Come on. Like joke.
I
like,
see what you're saying.
But
that's
runs.
Who you are when you drink.
Well, that's why I'm 2.5 years no drinking. There you go. And no, I punch. I don't whisper sweet nothings.
You do. You whisper a lot of sweet nothings.
Well,
Remember
I punched Brendan.
You threaten to bite. You do get punchy. Yeah.
Whatever.
You can't do it
Don't make me face my problems 2.5 years later. I've bettered myself.
Oh, no. We all talk about it still.
Really?
2017 was a bad year for you.
No, it wasn't.
Isn't that when you quit? That was when the Me Too era happened. It was good you stopped there. You got real hands.
No, I still had a year of drinking during Me Too, and I flew right through it.
Yeah, well, not all of us.
I mean, I definitely
Some of us stopped growing,
aggressively assaulted all my male friends.
Yeah.
All my male friends.
Yes, only males.
I sent a lot of unsolicited asshole pictures, dick pictures, poop pictures to all my male friends.
Yeah.
That's true. You guys got a case. So he's doing this thing, and then Joe kind of jumps in with a couple one-liners. Like, he's really funny.
Sure.
He's got that, like, he's got that mind, too. Like, you know, even just wise-ass, like, street joke type things, where I was like, you know, in the middle of a conversation, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go grab water.
You just becomes Godzilla versus Kong. You just are like one of the the people in the city that are like, I'm just going to duck out. You guys got this, right? All right.
That is exactly what I was like. I was like, I'm going to go grab water. And he goes, your hands will get wet. I was like, that was fun, you know? Get it?
Water.
Grab water. So it's like that stuff.
Captain Literal Man.
Exactly.
It works,
so
it's fun.
it's funny, though. So
I'll take it.
he's doing a couple one-liner jokes, and they're very funny. And then they start naturally falling into a who's on first prison rape joke that's directed at me.
What?
It's the craziest thing that I've ever experienced as a social backstop, because it was 2 guys joking about raping me in prison, or how much I would get raped if I was in prison.
Yeah, that's tough.
So Nicole, bless her heart, sees on her watch that it's been a cool hour since I said I was going to eat a chicken nugget, and comes downstairs and goes, you know, not in any type of nice way at all. It was like, Mike, what are you doing? Like, what's going on?
Not in any kind of nice way. Mike, what? What's going on? What are you doing? That's so funny. Someone who you think is saving you to aggressively to yell you out of a situation is very funny.
But it kind of,
I love that.
I don't know if
It snaps you in.
It's also a little brilliant, because
It
to
is
them,
brilliant.
it sounds like we're in a fight.
Yes. Now you have to go tend to something.
But then also, because they're the, you know, who they are,
Oh, they're gonna be
they're like, hey! Wow!
Yeah, good
Who's
luck.
wearing the velour pants
Yeah.
in this relationship?
Yeah.
You know, all that type of shit. And I was like, yeah, you know, no worries, I'll be in a minute. I was like, yeah, just finish your thing. What? Am I going to be kicked out of my family after this episode?
I mean, for sure. I can't believe Nicole listens to this. I felt bad about yes ending some of your things, but I'm laughing at Alex, who's in the back, just like she's just like throwing her hand up, leaning back, like, I mean, the man's being very transparent. You can't knock him for that. He's speaking his truth. What happens, happens, and he's gonna say it. It's kind of artist he is. Take it or leave it, honey.
Yeah, it'll be such a snowflake. So she leaves. And they're making fun of me, which I'm like just looking at them. And then Mario's like, why don't you, he's like excited right now. Like he's just having the time of his life. He's busting my balls. He's blackout drunk. He's got a buddy. It's like, it's the most fun. It's Father's Day. It's like everything. So he's like, why don't you tell her to shut the fuck up and blah, blah, blah. Like kidding around, but also to the point. And I just looked at him. I was like, because I like her.
Yeah.
And Joe immediately picked up and was like, oh, you're one of those weirdos that likes his wife. And like Mario kept going on with his riff and like it wasn't relevant at all to anybody.
Yeah.
And just, truly brutal. But, what was so yeah, I was going to say, this is how I wanted to end it. No, actually, this is all of it. That's it. That's the worst ending to a story in this show's history.
The most anticlimactic stutter stop on like
I know what happened. What happened was
rolling wave.
Mario eventually went into his shop to watch OANN or whatever. Joe told me more about the vaccine, and then Mario started coming up the steps 35 minutes later. So I was still hearing about the vaccine an hour and a half later. And once Mario started coming up, Joe goes, all right, man, I got to get the fuck out of here. He's going to talk my ear off for 2 hours.
And there it was.
Yeah, and that's the button.
I just love what I was laughing at is you going, and that's it. the full e-brake on the highway kind of a situation.
So I get to host.
Yeah, it was that.
Yeah,
it was that.
That was really bad.
What a
I do have
safe drop that is still.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
You do have a what?
I have a short one if we need another short one. So I did, this is like 2 weeks ago or something like that. I mean, I have ones dating all the way back to...
You don't work in reverse order?
No, I mean, I guess I just didn't. I'll talk about Lewis's show at the Stress Factory because it only takes 2 seconds. It was awesome. It was really great. It was the first one that he ever did. It was under that tent. It was totally sold out. It was like, we haven't had Skankfest now for a year and a half, basically. So that was kind of a nice little taste of it. Everybody knows who you are. And, I think there are people that know our stand-up a little bit or know our clips, but then don't know. They don't know.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They don't fucking know.
They don't know.
And then you get to show them, and it's a great feeling because you're like, yeah, this is what I do. You know what I mean? Like, this is
Where
exactly, where the fuck have you been? And it was just one of those really nice nights where it started out very positive. Everybody was there. I got to see Dave Smith. I haven't seen him in a really long time. Got to hang with Ari, Colum. I got to see Colum do stand-up, which I don't think I had ever seen before that. He was hilarious. And, it was just an awesome night of stand-up.
Yay.
Which was great. And then, so this is the other night where it was a good night as well, but this was my first night. My first show was at a barbershop, and then I was doing 2 at New York comedy clubs. One of the ones at New York Comedy Club, I started off the set trying to tell this story, and it bombed so bad it ruined the rest of the set. They couldn't forgive me throughout the rest of the show.
Okay, can't wait to hear it.
I think it's a better podcast clip. So I'm at that barbershop on the Lower East Side, which is a really great show. Dude, Ronnie Lord runs it. And I do that, I can't find parking. I'm looking around for like 40 minutes. There's just nothing. I've had to piss for an hour and a half too, and I'm just frantic. Can't do anything. So I just double park outside of the thing, and I'm like trying to do the same thing as you, where I was like, hey, can you watch the car, whatever? He's like, I park here all the time, just whatever. And I put on the hazards, and I'm like, all right, fine.
Do you ever worry about that? I feel like the hazards, my thought process is not to put the hazards on, especially if you're blocking something, like if you're blocking a fire hydrant or something, because it's like, if you put the hazards on, it's almost like hey, I'm parked here illegally, and I'm not by the car.
Yeah,
you know
you're
what I mean?
lighthousing.
What I do is, I leave the headlights on. So people don't know that there's nobody in the car if they're just driving by pretty quick.
Oh, that's a good idea.
The problem is a lot of new cars auto turn it off because they don't want it to kill your battery.
That's true. Yeah, wow. Something to snack on for next time. So I go in. I go in, I do 10 minutes, have a great set. It's really fun. All young people. There was somebody in the front row that like just so desperately didn't want to like me and then eventually got there where it's like, yeah, fuck you. Come on. What the hell? I understand my face might remind you of somebody or whatever, but you have to understand that you equating that to me is psychotic.
Yeah.
So I go outside and I'm going, and I'm saying thanks to Ronnie. I'm saying peace to a bunch of comics. And I go to my car and there's a guy standing at my car on the passenger side at the rear, right? And I walk around. I'm like, oh, what's up, buddy? I was like, this isn't an Uber. It's my car. And he goes, yeah. I was like, I just see him. He's like, fucking, I don't know. Yeah, all right, totally. And I'm like, I take a step to the driver's seat and he's still like going to pull on my car. And I go, oh, dude, this isn't an Uber. It's my car. And he's like, I don't know. It's crazy. I'm like, no, seriously, this is not an Uber. It's my car. This is not an Uber. And he goes, oh man. I'm going to walk away. I'm really embarrassed. And then he just walked away. And I was like, what the fuck was that? I have never seen somebody's body produce cocaine to sober them in a moment of need and then have a straight-laced like, oh, whoa, sorry, man, and then walk away. And I just kind of quietly got in my car and then drove to the next show where I told that story and bombed.
That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.
Hey everyone, before we go, if you enjoy this podcast, you might enjoy some of the other podcasts available at gasdigitalnetwork.com. This week, we are highlighting Stoke the Fire, hosted by the lead singer of Killswitch Engage, Jesse Leach, and his co-host, Matt Stocks. You can find the full catalog of episodes on demand at gasdigitalnetwork.com or catch the latest 15 episodes anywhere you find podcasts. Here's a clip.
I had money in my bank account. My band, and I actually had learned how to do my job to control my drinking enough to where I wasn't sloppy on stage, or really, I mean, I wasn't as good as I am sober, but I wasn't like falling off the stage, which I've done before. I learned how to control it. We were in Brisbane on tour with Metallica, and I woke up one morning after drinking the night before, and I drank a whole lot the night before. And I'm sure I was intoxicated, but I did not get the mental relief that drinking provided me, which was it turned this switch off on this overactive brain of mine, which in untreated alcoholism, that overactive brain is constantly saying negative things. It's saying negative things about the world around me. It's saying negative things about the people around me. And it's most importantly, it's saying negative things about me.